It's echoing some of the themes that we've talked about from a market's perspective all for the last 2 hours. This idea that maybe it's late cycle, maybe other things are developing. Well, that's playing out right now in Chief Executive Magazine's October reading of CEO confidence. What you're seeing in that chart right now, and for listeners on SiriusXM or elsewhere on the radio, what it shows is the lowest level of CEO confidence tracked by CEO Magazine so far this year, and about the lowest level that we've seen in about a year's time.
But we should probably point out that these are incredibly elevated levels.
Correct. This is. And what you saw over the course of the past 6 to 9 months is this idea that CEO confidence was higher, presumably because of things like the tax cuts and corporate policy deregulation, that sort of thing. But if you take a look at some of the highlights, here's what we're looking. There's themes that are developing. 3 of them that are the most important drivers of confidence slipping among CEOs are not unfamiliar to CBS or CNBC viewers or listeners. They are fear of rising interest rates, the Fed, so to speak, right? Fears of inflation, also the end of cycle fears that we spoke about. And some of that's playing out in some of those revenue numbers, Becky, that you mentioned earlier in the 6 o'clock hour. If you take a look at some of the places where we are seeing a little bit more or less confidence on a relative basis, it is large company CEOs that are actually slightly more confident, if you will look on a relative basis. Mm-hmm. These are ones with about $1 billion or more in revenue. They're feeling a little bit more confident, but still down from last year. Where you are seeing a lot of the lack of confidence is in small and mid-cap companies.
Probably not surprising.
And the market's bearing out that way, right? If you look at the Russell 2000 or the S&P mid-cap index, that's where you're looking. One other thing to bring up, where you are seeing more optimism, perhaps surprisingly a bit, is in the construction-related CEOs. And that flies in the face of things that we've been seeing from the home construction stocks, which are hitting lows and lows and lows. Professional and business services are the least optimistic, and no surprise, tech and telecom CEOs are the ones that are having the worst confidence right now.
You know, what's so interesting about this is just what it means if this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are less confident, if you then spend less money on capital expenditures, if you then hire fewer people, and that's...
Well, the other thing that you want to bring up, too, is whether or not anything can change with that, right? If you do get it, perhaps hypothetically, another tax cut, or you get another round of trade issues being resolved, maybe that changes the narrative a little bit.
Sure.
And so this is a month-by-month survey, so it's higher frequency, so to speak. We'll see if that kind of changes out.